Tonight, the Apollo Theater comes to Troy.
Plus, big discounts for students. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for February the 6th, 2013. I'm Deatra Montgomery.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. The Student Government Association President Will Thompson had a big update on a project that has been in the works for months. Judson Garner has more.
October 16th, 2012, SGA President Will Thompson announced at a meeting the plan to create a student discount card. Tuesday night, 113 days later, Thompson unveiled the design of the card and announced the cards will be going on sale within the month of February.
This is what they will look like on the front.
Completing this project will be a big achievement for Thompson and the SGA. After Thompson's term as president ends in a few weeks, he will continue to work with government officials, which is what he's been doing all along.
We officially became partners in the SGA Student Discount Chamber project.
And the goal of this card is to get students off campus and onto the sidewalks of Troy. But for this card to even exist, it would have to not only benefit students, but local businesses as well. A big problem the committee faced when getting businesses on board was the idea that businesses could not alter their discounts towards students for an entire year once the card was published.
For them to commit for an entire year, this is more than just a coupon.
On the SGA page at troy.edu, a link will be posted for short-term discounts. These additional discounts will not affect the year-long committed discounts businesses have agreed upon. Over 50 businesses are now on board. The Chamber of Commerce says that list is growing daily. Judson Garner, Troy TrojanVision News.
Right now, it's projected that the discount cards will be on sale around Valentine's Day, but a date has not been confirmed by the Chamber of Commerce. Again, the cards will only cost $5, and the SGA senators will be selling them. We'll let you know where else the cards will be sold in the coming weeks.
Well, Troy University's Trojan Center Theater looked a lot more like the world-famous Apollo Night Theater, as one Troy organization had a little fun in honor of Black History Month. Robert Wagner has the story.
On Tuesday night in TC Theater, students come to watch NABJ's very own Apollo Night, a unique show that combines the performers and the audience in order to create an unusual atmosphere.
It's a little bit different as you've seen Apollo, like if they like you, they cheer, and if you're not so good, you actually get booed. So I mean, that's the style of what's going on here tonight.
NABJ hosts Apollo Night each year in honor of Black History Month to kick things off. We usually have a lot of talent who usually signs up. We have dancers, singers, rappers, poem readers, a mixture of combinations of talents, and they sign up for all chance to win $100 in cash.
But for the audience, their prize was being the judge.
The crowd was very active, and they booed sometimes. They clapped a lot of times. They made a lot of noise, so they were great. The host was a comedian. He's extremely goofy, for lack of a word, and I enjoyed it.
And while the audience had their fun, Edward Hardy came up on top.
It feels great to win. There was a couple good people. Actually, everybody was good in their own way. Dancing, me and somebody else dancing, I thought she was great at dancing. I liked what she was doing, and I felt the competition was nice and solid, so I really liked it, and I was really happy when I won.
In honor of Edward's aunt, he decided to tell a story about drunk driving through his love of dancing. And while there can only be one true winner, every performer had a positive experience being on stage.
They love me. I didn't win, but it's okay. Congratulations to Edward, who did. We messed all week about who would win, who was in a battle against who would win, but in the end he won. But it's okay. But congratulations to him, and I loved it tonight. It was very good.
Robert Wagner, Troy TrojanVision News.
All proceeds from the event went to the Pike County Boys and Girls Club. The NABJ's next event will be a workshop in April. Well, Bailey, every week, Troy students have an opportunity to gather to talk about an article in the New York Times.
That's absolutely right, Deatra, and usually the topics discussed tend to be more serious and controversial, but that was not the case this week. Connor McCurry has the details.
Today at the weekly Times Talk, Troy students had the opportunity to break away from the monotony of their schedules and discuss something few get to bring up in public forum.
We decided to pick a topic that wasn't so serious today. We wanted to talk about something that students were really interested in, and that's, of course, dating and turn-offs, turn-ons and turn-offs.
After reading the 2 articles they were provided with and enjoying the complimentary pizza, students had the chance to voice their opinions on the ins and outs of dating.
We talked about an article that had statistics on a survey about deal breakers for people that are single right now and looking for dating or looking for the right mate.
The topic of dating, although seemingly light for a Times Talk, holds great relevance in the lives of college students.
In college, sometimes students are first experiencing the real dating game for the first time as an adult, and we want to make sure that people are aware of certain things.
Times Talk will be Wednesday at noon in Trojan Center, room 119.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Midland City, authorities say the man holding a 5-year-old boy hostage in an underground bunker was making plans of his own as FBI and police negotiators spent days seeking to coax him into freeing the child. FBI Special Agent Jason Pack says in an email that bomb technicians found 2 explosive devices yesterday on Jimmy Lee Dyke's property.
And in Birmingham, authorities say 2 people were killed and 3 others injured in a crash on Lakeshore Parkway. Birmingham Police Sergeant Johnny Williams tells AL.com that 3 people were injured and were being treated at 3 different hospitals. Police say 2 vehicles were involved in the wreck.
And in Bessemer, a Salvation Army food pantry is overflowing with donations after reports that it was running critically low and would soon run out. And officials say this response has been overwhelming.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, the women's basketball team was on the road earlier today looking to bring home their 2nd victory in a row. Danielle Percival will have the details on that game ahead next in sports.
But first, receiving your mail 6 days a week will soon be a thing of the past. We'll have that story and more after the break.
The Postal Service and its customers.
I would tell anybody, if you're getting your master's, I would start with Troy first.
It's easy, you can take classes online, you take them on ground.
Because being a full-time mom, full-time dad, and working full-time with Troy, it was just perfect. It worked for us.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education with the flexibility you need. Troy University, it's all you need to know.
We both earned our master's in public administration, and I choose Troy.
We choose Troy.
That's right, we choose Troy.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Deatra Montgomery at the Global News Desk. Deatra.
Thanks, Bailey. The financially struggling U.S. Postal Service is cutting back delivery services to save $2 billion a year. Daniel Nottingham has more on the end of a 150-year tradition.
No more mail on Saturdays. To save money, the U.S. Postal Service is ending Saturday first-class mail delivery beginning in August. Many customers saw this day coming.
I think it's probably long overdue since they've been having so many budget issues.
I also have been doing everything online for a really long time, so I don't think it's necessarily going to impact my world.
Over the past 6 years, the Postal Service lost $41 billion despite laying off 35% of its workforce.
It would be irresponsible for the Postal Service not to pursue this course. We are in a situation where we are obligated to make some tough choices and decisions.
Local post offices with Saturday hours will still be open, and mail carriers will continue to deliver express and priority mail as well as packages on Saturday.
There is a strong and growing demand for our package service, and we need to meet that demand over the coming decade.
Congress usually approves any big changes at the post office, but the independent agency found a way to sidestep lawmakers. And most Americans believe it is the right move. Polls show nearly 7 in 10 people support the switch to 5-day delivery service if it cuts costs. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
A new study warns that the number of Alzheimer cases in the U.S. is going to triple over the next few decades. Vanita Nair introduces us to one woman who is helping her father with Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Amy Lee takes care of her father, Benny, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease about 3.5 years ago.
When he was first diagnosed, he would say, like, oh, what's happening to me? I don't remember anything, or something's wrong. But now he's past that phase, because his language skills are no longer as strong.
More and more Americans are finding themselves in Amy's position.
There's a lot of frustration. It's overwhelming.
A new study predicts the number of seniors with the memory-robbing disease is going to skyrocket from about 5 million today to about 13.8 million in 2050.
The baby boom generation is entering into their retirement years, and as they age, we know the numbers of those with Alzheimer's will increase dramatically.
As many as 15 million Americans currently care for a loved one with Alzheimer's. As the number of patients goes up, so does the burden on society and families.
Researchers don't know what causes Alzheimer's, and there's no cure.
Right now, we're not prepared as a country to deal with this crisis.
Yeah, who's that?
Amy's dad will turn 90 this summer. She knows his mental faculties will only continue to decline.
I think there's going to be a point where he's not going to be able to live at home anymore. So that's going to be a big, sad step.
Her goal is to make sure he has as much dignity as possible as he enters the last stage of his life. Vanita Nair, CBS News, New York.
Doctors' house calls have gone high-tech. Hundreds of thousands of patients across the U.S. are seeing their doctor online. Edward Lawrence looks at this growing trend.
Pam Ragland knew it was time to see a doctor.
I had this just debilitating headache, but it felt like it was kind of connected to my sinuses.
But instead of taking a trip to the doctor's office, she logged onto her computer at home. After less than 15 minutes in a virtual waiting room, she was connected to Dr. Moses Nasser at memd.me.
If you could just say your full name.
I'm Pam Ragland.
So the main reason that you're calling today is for your headaches, correct?
I don't know if maybe I have a sinus infection.
More and more people are talking with doctors electronically. One estimate shows about 400,000 consumers used online medical services last year.
No cough?
A virtual doctor's visit like this costs about $45, and some insurance companies cover it. The visits are only recommended for patients with minor health problems like bites and stings, cough, sore throat, or headaches. Pam is a working single mother with very little free time, so seeing a doctor online was the right prescription.
First of all, it saved me time. Secondly, it was way more convenient, and it was immediate.
Any fever?
After going through Pam's history and symptoms, Dr. Moses determined she had a sinus infection.
And then I'm going to give you 3 prescriptions. One prescription is for a Z-Pak, which is just 3 days of antibiotics.
But she'll have to leave her house to pick up the medicine. Edward Lawrence for CBS News, Rancho Cucamonga, California.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, such as the judge sentencing a teen to 30 days in jail over a hand gesture, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Deatra. Now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So Danielle, the women's basketball team was in action this morning, and they had a bit of luck last weekend. Did that good luck carry over for the game today?
Well, Bailey, we'll get into that in a minute. It was also National Signing Day, so that received a lot of coverage as well. But as far as the women, well, that luck didn't really carry over, and we'll get into the details right now.
All right, sounds good.
For the women's basketball team, they were coming off their first conference victory of the season and looking to make it 2 in a row. However, South Alabama had a different idea. The Trojans lost to the Jags 74-58 and only shot 34% from the floor. Joanna Harden led all scorers in the game with 19 points, and Sarah McCappian followed up a solid performance in her last outing by putting up another 13 points and 7 boards. Troy managed to force 23 turnovers and score 25 points off those mistakes by the Jags. The Trojans also stepped up on defense in the second half and outscored the Jaguars 37-35. Troy will return to the court Saturday afternoon, taking on Middle Tennessee in another early game. Tip-off Saturday is scheduled for 2 p.m. in Murfreesboro. And for the men's team, they've still got one more day before they hit the court to take on South Alabama. Troy is creeping closer to 500 this season with a record of 10-13 and 5-7 in conference play. Head coach John Maestri is sitting at 498 victories, and the next two are on the road. Getting to 500 before making it back to Trojan Arena would be an impressive accomplishment since the teams they're facing are the top two teams in their division. But for Maestri, he says reaching that milestone isn't something he's had his mind set on.
I think when you're in it for a longer period of time, those kind of things mean less. I think when you're 25 years old, boy, you say, man, that'd be great, you know. But I see the Bobby Knights of the world and all those people with all those wins, and it don't even mean anything to them. They're doing something else, fishing or announcing games or something, you know. And I'm not trying to be self-effacing or humble and all that baloney. That's really not that much a big thing to me in terms of pleasure.
The chance to get to 499 comes tomorrow night in Mobile. The Trojans and the Jaguars will hit the court for tip-off at 7:05. And if you're in the sports world at all, you probably know today was National Signing Day, one of those days that, keeps fax machines still in the office. The Trojans added 21 players to the 2013 recruiting class, including players from 8 different states, and 12 of those are Alabama boys. The highlight is on defense, where Troy reeled in 2 4-star recruits, linebacker Sam Levy from Maryland and cornerback Keon Payne from Florida. Head coach Larry Blakeney says the recruits they landed filled in the gaps on the team.
We've done a solid job replenishing the guys' personnel, and getting guys that are good enough students to come in here and get the job done academically.
Sam was a really good player that that was highly recruited, coming out of the math, and then he went to Atlanta Sports Academy and got his grades and got qualified, and we're excited about having him.
Troy signed 11 offensive players and 13 defensive guys. 5 guys were signed for each side of the line, and the position with the most recruits was defensive back. And if you saw the Trojans last year, you understand. So Deatra, Bailey, it's never too late to talk about football season, never too early to talk about football season. So it's always exciting to see who the Trojans are going to be bringing in, and tough luck for the women's basketball team, but hopefully the men can maybe bring a Trojan victory tomorrow night.
Absolutely, that'd be great. Tough news, about the women's team.
Better luck next time.
Absolutely, and congratulations once again to all the signees for the football team.
That's right.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you.
Guys.
So the TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll find out about the Trojan baseball season.
But first, temperatures were significantly warmer today. Can we put away those coats and jackets for the rest of the week? Courtney?
Well, Bailey, it's probably time to put away your winter coat, but for tomorrow you might want to bring out your raincoat. I have more details coming up next in weather.
I'm Sandra Fry. I'm a union bus driver, and I'm also a mom. During 17 years with Greyhound, I've covered over 2 million miles. My job is to safely bring families together. I love the open road, but I never forget that a drowsy or careless driver could be right around the next curve. Drunk driving is the deadliest of all. As a mom and as a bus driver, I have a message for you. If you drink, don't drive.
I was looking for something that if I had to take online, I could still take it, but I wanted that personal touch that Troy offers. I needed to be able to work around my schedule because I still support my family full time, and I needed to be able to be flexible, and Troy met those needs.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education with the flexibility you need. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
My name is Jeremy. I am a criminal justice major with Homeland Security. I needed to reinvent myself, and I chose Troy.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Courtney Addison joins us for a look at weather.
Well, Courtney, it seems like every day that's gone by, the temperature's getting warmer and warmer. What can we expect for the rest of the week?
Exactly, Dr. It has gotten progressively warmer over the past week, but for tomorrow, those cool temperatures are going to be kicking back in, and we are going to be expecting lots of rain for tomorrow. But I have more details coming up a little bit later. First, let's take a look at our current conditions. Looking at our current conditions, we have fair skies today. Temperature coming in right now at about 71, dew point at 49 degrees, humidity relatively low for our area at 46%, barometer coming in at 30.07 and falling, and winds coming in from the southeast at about 4 miles per hour. Looking at today's statistics, we had a high of about 72. We have a low of 55. There was no rain. Sunrise was at 6:35 a.m. and the sun should be at 5:23 p.m. And going into temperatures around the state, for the most part, everyone's experiencing sunny to partly cloudy skies. Most everyone is seeing temperatures in the 60s and the 70s. We have Mobile coming in at 65 with partly cloudy skies. Birmingham 67, Huntsville at 63, Montgomery and Phoenix City both at 72, Troy at 71, and Dothan coming in at 70. So most everyone had those very spring-like temperatures already in February today. Taking a bigger look at temperatures around the southeast, as I said, most everyone in our area and parts of Mississippi and Georgia and the Carolinas were seeing temperatures in 60s and the 70s. But if we look farther up north into Arkansas and Tennessee, they're seeing temperatures into the 50s, so a little bit cooler there. And go into temperatures around the United States. We're seeing very warm temperatures all over in the south part of the United States. But if you go farther up north, they're seeing temperatures in the 20s and the 30s, and some places even seeing temperatures into the teens. So they're experiencing very cold weather and very icy conditions. Looking at our current surface map, farther out west, we have this low front developing, lots of high pressure systems, lots of pressure systems developing out west. If we take a look closer into our area, we have this low front in the southern tip of Texas, which is causing this band of showers to linger out in the Gulf of Mexico, and parts of Louisiana is experiencing lots of rain for today, and as well as parts of Texas. Looking at our precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours, we could be experiencing lots of rain, lots of heavy rain, anywhere up to 1 inch to 2 inches of rain into the next couple of days. So make sure if you're going to be traveling, you have to get out, be very careful, because for the most part, the whole southeastern part of the United States could be experiencing some rain, different amounts, and depending on where you are. And looking at tomorrow's forecast, this rain has moved in. It's going to be a 100% chance of rain for tomorrow. So if you have to get outside, make sure you're very careful. Have your raincoat and your umbrella on hand. We could be experiencing up to 2 inches of rain, very heavy rain, all throughout the Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia. And going into Friday's forecast, a lot of that has moved out of our area except for the northern part of Alabama and Mississippi. There is some rain still lingering in our area. Going into Saturday's forecast, most of that rain has moved out of our area, so we should have a beautiful start to our weekend. But we do see this band of showers is already starting to form again, and lots of windy conditions and icy conditions are developing out west. Going into Sunday's forecast, that rain has moved back into our area just a little bit. We could be experiencing light rain on Sunday, but for the most part, that rain hasn't hit us yet. We'll have to keep an eye on that to see whether it comes into our area at the beginning of next week. Looking at tonight's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies with increasing clouds later on tonight. So after midnight, when those showers start rolling in, is when the clouds should be starting to develop. There's a 50% chance of rain. Most of that rain should be coming into the wee hours of the morning around 1 or 2 o'clock. And we also will be experiencing winds from the east at 5 miles per hour with a low of 55. So a really chilly night outside as well. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, we have steady rain early in the morning, but it should slack off into the afternoon. It should be off and on showers throughout the afternoon. And we should be expecting about 0.5 inches of rain tomorrow afternoon. We also should have winds from the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour with a high of 62. So that rain is going to cool it off just a little bit. And looking at our 4-day forecast, we have Thursday high of 62, low of 48. That 100% chance of rain is in effect for tomorrow. So make sure that you're very careful if you're going to be outside. Friday, partly cloudy skies, as well as Saturday and Sunday, highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. So Deatra, Bailey, we can't put away our winter coats just for now, but by tomorrow we probably need to break out our raincoats, our umbrellas, to make sure you're very careful you're going to be outside tomorrow, because it is that 100% chance of rain, of steady rain in the morning. So on your way to class, make sure you're really careful.
That's definitely good to know. Thank you so much, Courtney.
Thank you.